Well, good morning. I have a busy, busy day ahead of me, and I want to get this done as early in the day as possible. I could have done it in the middle of the night, but I chose to go back to bed instead. And I'm glad I did because I didn't really know exactly what I was going to talk about until I watched a particular video, The Freeing of Humanity Questions and Answers. That's the title of the video, and it's the response from Logic Before Authority's video put out a few days earlier or last week. Anyway, the title that I've finally selected for today's video is The Esoteric or Spiritual Aspect of Swissindo. Many people may not understand it, but there are aspects playing out in the Swissindo saga that do not meet the eye, unless it's the inner eye of the heart or spirit. It might even be a form of divine intervention on behalf of mankind and Gaia herself. I've heard talk of dragons returning and walk-ins and other possibilities, including ET involvement. Many will automatically dismiss such notions, yet to me, I don't see how the matrix can be overcome without apparent supernatural aspects coming into play. I do believe and hope that is what's happening here now. I commented on that video, The Freeing of Humanity Questions and Answers by Logic Before Authority. I thought this was well done. There are some things that are very esoteric and would sound insane to those who simply are not in tune with other dimensional realities. I have the same problem answering some questions. Oh, indeed. Most people, the spiritual aspects that are coming into play as the human soul is being revealed more and more to many. It's not a universal revelation yet, or an awareness that most people on the earth grasp. But more and more people on earth are grasping that there are dimensions of the soul that do not fit into our rational mind explanations of how things work. They don't work the way we've been told. It's much different. It's much bigger. It's much more powerful. All the superlatives can fit in to the reality compared to the little reality. I'm talking about the big reality compared to the little reality that we've been trained in and programmed by. The matrix is a left brain operation. Western culture is a left brain operation. Eastern culture, even though Western culture has made its mark upon Eastern culture is more of a right brain or intuitive or spiritual aspect, where they talk about dragons and the incarnation of massive beings into human bodies. And in the case of Swissindo, we're dealing with the dragon family. Now, you've heard Benjamin Fulford talk about the dragon family. The white dragons, the black dragons. There's a whole bunch of dragons, folks. And was this the year of the dragon, or was that last year? I don't remember. But in any case, we're in the time of the dragon, I believe. And dragons, or very powerful, perhaps reptilian beings, that have been involved in human evolution on apparently the negative side for a long time, may be present with us in human form. In fact, the gods may have descended into human form and are walking in to human bodies with other dimensional realities. I suspect Mr. Sino is one of those walk-ins, and I suspect he has many aspects that are integrating within his personality, if you will, within his current form, and many others are awakening to aspects of ourselves that don't fit the normal explanations of things as we've been trained to think. They don't fit inside the box. They're outside the box realities and dimensions. And folks, there's a whole lot more than meets the eye going on here. Like many of you, I say to myself, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. And yet there's some things that I sense inside that I don't have to see. They simply resonate. And for a person that hasn't experienced that, there's no way that you can even understand it. There's no way that you can get it, because you have nothing to compare it to. Nothing in your frame of reference that you can say, yeah, I know what he's talking about. And this is the problem that we sometimes have as we're trying to explain things. I mean, when you read Heather's stuff, even me, I mean, when I read Heather's stuff, sometimes I don't know what the hell she's saying. And she speaks in such esoteric terminology, and I'm not even at that level that I can grasp exactly what she's saying. So I get it when other people don't get it. When I'm talking about things like walk-ins and dragons and extraterrestrials, some people believe in, some people are absolutely know there's extraterrestrials. There's no doubt in their mind. I know that's true, but I haven't had any personal experiences with an ET being, as far as I know, not in the conscious day-to-day living of my own life in this realm, at this time. Yet I do know that I'm more than what was born in 1946 and is living here in 2014. I'm more than this body. I'm more than this personality, this ego. I'm more, not less than, I'm more than. And we're all more than what we think we are. And unless we can get a handle on the reality of the esoteric realm or the spiritual realm, none of this is going to make any sense to you. Now, I was thinking as I just was driving back from the hardware store, I had to pick up an O-ring because my grandson apparently took the O-ring off of the drain plug, and the drain plug lets water out now because there's nothing rubber to hold the water in. Anyway, I'm driving back and I'm thinking, Obama. I'm remembering all the things that were said about Obama, that he's a star seed, that he's here from another dimensional reality to bring humanity something good, change that we can believe in. Now, nothing that Obama has done so far indicates anything to me that there's any truth in that at all. Yet, there's something inside that says he's not done yet. Maybe he will actually start manifesting other aspects of his soul, and the rest of him might be walking into his current being and imbuing him with power and courage and protection from the criminal aspects that have been controlling him as the puppet masters behind the curtain. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas that float through my mind. What if Mr. Sino, what if he is a whole bunch of other beings rolled into one? What if he is Sukarno? Not the son of, but actually a walk-in from Sukarno's soul. What if he is really Muhammad? What if he really is Jesus? What if he really is a dragon? Now, the Mexican or Aztec, and perhaps, I know Aztec, but perhaps even Mayan, they look for Quetzalcoatl. What is Quetzalcoatl? It's a dragon. It's a return of the dragon. This is our myths. This is our cultures from around the world talking about these things. Western culture, but more ancient than current Western culture, had the same images as the Eastern culture does. But the Western European culture was superimposed over the American culture, which was Asian before. In other words, it was earth-based, it was intuitive-based, it was spiritual in nature, by far and large, not totally, but by far and large, that's the truth. And the Western left brain thinking, the rational thinking of Western culture was superimposed over the native culture, and all the shamans, or at least most of them, were killed. And the tradition, Europeans did a horrific job of stamping out the Eastern cultures, trying to impose their false Christianity and their false religion upon people that knew more about walking in spirit than they did, because Christianity had become totally a left brain operation, an either or mentality, where it was the fight between dark and light, where it was the fight between good and evil, and where everything was polarized. That's simply a construct that is insane. It's psychopathic, as I said in previous videos. But that's the lens that we view things through, because it's what we've been taught. So grasping another reality is a challenge for most people. I get it. I understand it. It's a challenge for me to believe some things are happening, even if I want them to happen, even if there's a resonance that says, Ron, this really is what's happening. There's a part of me that just says, but we've been told this so many times and it hasn't happened. It's still the same old crappy world that we've been living in all along. It's still the same old matrix of control. I don't see the changes. When is it going to really land and be something that we can see, that we can experience in physical reality? Not just the etheric reality, not just the esoteric reality, but the reality of human experience. And that's what I've always been about for a long time. I want it to be real in my world of 3 dimensions. I want the 4th and the 5th and the higher dimensions to impinge on the 3-dimensional world and transform it. Not lift us out of it, but transform 3-dimensional reality to something that is more meaningful, something that is larger, something that is grander, something that is more beautiful, something that is more loving. Again, all the superlatives. And this is the cry of my heart, but it's not just my heart, it's your heart too, if you will listen to it. Maybe you're not one that can hear it yet, but yet you have to say, when you're listening to hear me say those words, you're saying, ooh, it's hitting too close to home there. Because there are realities that we're not aware of. That's just simply the way it is. And trying to communicate that in a language that people can understand and can get the meaning of is difficult if they haven't had the experience yet. It's difficult to communicate something to someone who has no point of reference to what you're talking about. Experience is the only real teacher. The only real teacher. Everything else is meaningless until you've experienced it for yourself, until you've experienced your own soul as a multidimensional, multi-aspect creature, and as creator as well, creature and creator, the paradox. The creator that created a creature of itself. God creating many creatures of itself. What if there's a whole lot more going on here than meets the eye? I suggest to you there is. I suggest to you that we don't have all the answers yet. It is a process unfolding that is revealing step by step what we need to know and see till we can actually be transformed and transform the world in the process. As we are transformed, the world will be transformed. It's an automatic, it's a given. It can't be stopped. It can't be hindered. There's no power in the universe that can stop the evolution of human consciousness that is going on right now. It's factual. It's actual. It's truthful. It's reality impinging upon the lower reality. Reality with the capital R impinging on the reality with the little r. And folks, I ask you again, open your mind, open your heart, open your self to the possibilities, and allow the greater part of you that is invisible to come in and guide you, and to motivate you, and to inspire you, and to bring you to a place where you can see how awesome you are and everybody else is as well, where you can allow for forgiveness and reconciliation. That is the ministry of the Anointed One, of the Christ. But Mr. Sino is the Christ. Ron Van Dyke is the Christ. And guess what? So are you the Christ. I saw a video the other day that someone sent me about the Jesus in Siberia. And it was a nice video. A beautiful city that they've created in the wilderness. Beautiful city. A Russian cop becomes the Messiah. I've met a man from Australia a few years back, 5 or 6 years ago probably now. He's the reincarnation of Jesus. I've heard of other people in South America and in North America and in Europe and in other places of the world that believe that they are the reincarnation of Jesus. Mr. Sugi, Mr. Sino, is also the reincarnation of Muhammad and the Buddha and Jesus, all rolled into one. Now, does that sound strange? Yes, it does. But do you know it's not true? Do you know it can't be true? Do you dismiss it just because it's not in your frame of reference? I suggest that you're probably dismissing things that you're just not ready to receive yet, and that someday, hopefully soon, you will be ready to receive the esoteric and spiritual aspects of what's going on in our world as the soul is being revealed to humanity. The soul with many dimensional aspects and many realities and much power. I think I'm going to leave it at that and go sit in the jacuzzi for a while. I do thank you for listening. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.